difference between generative AI and assistive AI. Now, we know with artificial intelligence, it is creating something based off of a prompt that you feed it. It could be text prompt, it could be an artwork piece of prompt, it could be something else, and it is taking the prompt that you give it and creating something from the data set that was input into the AI. Sometimes that is just the big, broad, general internet. Sometimes it is a specific data set. And for the ones that are actually being protective, it is legally acquired data that they are then putting into those systems. There's a lot of different ways to use this, a lot of different systems, a lot of different companies to work with, but the difference is between generative and assistive AI. So let me give you some examples and let's break it down a little bit. Generative AI is where it's creating something on your behalf. You're feeding a prompt into it and it's giving you something back. Assistive AI is going to be taking things that you've already created and tweaking them a little bit. So let me break this down for you in terms of the book world. You guys know I'm a multi-time best-selling author. People can create a novel with artificial intelligence by putting a prompt in and it will do the work for you. That's generative AI. It's unethical and icky, but people can do it. Or you can use AI as an assistive tool. I could take a novel that I completely wrote by myself as an author and have it look for typos, have it look for things that I need to refine, have it look for themes that I need to enhance a little bit. If it's just tweaking what I'm doing or giving me suggestions, that's assistive AI. Now let's talk about this in terms of imagery. If you feed a prompt into AI and you say, create me an image of X, Y, and Z, and it creates you that image, that is generative AI. Assistive AI would be if I, as a professional photographer of over 2 decades, took one of my photos, put it into an AI, and had it change the shadows, where the shadows were placed on my subject's face. Or I changed the background from a summery background to a winter background. It is, as a whole, my own content that it is then tweaking and assisting. It kind of functions along the lines of Photoshop. You have to put something in and then can tweak it for it to be assistive AI. But if you're creating something entirely new, and it's doing the work for you, then that's generative AI. With something like a movie production, if you are doing content for social media and you are telling it to create a video and it's using background elements and it's using text and it's going to be creating a digital animated version of you, that's generative AI. If, however, you are taking something that you've already filmed and you're having it tweak what you are doing, then that's assistive. We talk a lot about a really cool program that I like called Descript. I'll link it down below for you. You can actually read off of a teleprompter, you can read off of a script and be facing your camera, but have your eyes over here and it will snap the eyes back. That's assistive AI because I'm doing the work. I'm creating the video, I'm just looking in a different direction and it's moving my eyes back to face the camera. In fact, I have a whole tutorial on it. It's actually pretty cool if you're somebody who needs to read in order to do your videos. If you script and then read that, it's a really good tool for you. So we are breaking this down as generative is where it's creating it. It is doing the work. Having a prompt that you're putting in is not doing the work. That doesn't count for anything. That's like having an idea. Anybody can have an idea. If, however, you are doing the work and then it's tweaking it, it is changing a background, it is fixing a couple of typos, it is giving you ideas that you could enhance inside of what you are doing. That's assistive AI. So if you are doing the bulk of the work, all the work, and then it's just kind of refining it a little bit, that's assistive. If, however, you're just inputting an idea or you say, create this for me, or you're saying, do these things, that is not on you. You do not get to take credit for that. And copyright says that you do not get to copyright protect that. We have lots of videos on this, specifically with an entertainment and IP lawyer who breaks all this down with the ongoing court cases. So if you are following along on how we can be copyright protecting our content, if it's generative, if it's creating it for us, even in the slightest, right now the court cases say absolutely not, no copyright protection for you, which means anybody can take your content and use it however they please and you don't have a leg to stand on. If, however, it is assistive where you are just refining things, you also have to be careful. That's a very fine line right there. So we actually break down these court cases as they roll out because the more court cases that are happening, the more legal standing that we have. We actually have things that are leaning toward assistive AI being okay, but still generative AI is not okay for copyright protection. We're breaking those down. I'll link that down below for you. But if you are going to be using something like AI for creating a book for Kindle, for Amazon, they have very clearly spelled out the rules and the regulations of generative AI versus assistive AI, and they make you disclose that. We're seeing more and more companies like Google, like some of these big places, talking about flagging things that are created by artificial intelligence, just so that people have information. Of course, they're gathering data for this information. They are going to be doing notices and disclosures for people to make those decisions. Because if you go to a website and it was designed or created, the information was created by artificial intelligence, people are not going to want to trust that fully. It's not a human. It's not a professional human. It's not an expert human doing this. It could be pulled from anywhere. And we know again and again and again, the AI has failed in a lot. It's created legal briefs for people and just made up court cases. I actually did a really great video with my lawyer the other day where we were reading through some of my books where we asked it to say what my novels were about, and it just made things up. It had nothing to do with my novels. And so AI tends to make things up. And so they will flag some of these things on websites, on different platforms. We are starting to see it being flagged in other ways with the resources that we are going to be able to consume, like novels, where people then are going to be able to make those decisions. So generative AI does not count for copyright as of right now. It does get flagged in a lot of different things. Assistive AI is very different. So consider it like this. You are the main creator of this, and your personal assistant is just refining things for you before it goes out to the world. If, however, you are hiring somebody to do that work, that's kind of like generative AI. But does generative AI count as work for hire? We actually talked about this with our lawyer. We've got a full video on whether or not this legally counts as work for hire. And then if you can copyright it, I will link that down below for you because that is a valuable piece of information to know moving forward. So as of right now, the overall consensus is create your own work. Always create your own work. And then if you want to use AI to assist with it, you can. Tweaks, things after you've done the work. But keep in mind, if you are using anything related to AI, even pieces of it in like a book cover where you've mostly created on your own, you still do not have the ability to copyright those things. So drop your questions down below. We're actually bringing the lawyer back in. He comes every week to join us for a Q&A. So get your questions in for him, get your questions in for me. And we'll continue to bring you legal, ethical, and creative ways that you can be using AI inside of your business to save you time and effort, help you create your content faster, and to do better with what you're doing without being icky or gross about how you're using it or unethical about how you are using it. We are showing you new programs like Descript, where I mentioned the eye changing thing, where it kind of changes where you're looking inside of your videos if you have to look away. We've got some really cool AI that will clean up the words that you're saying. So if you say a lot of ums in between the words that you are speaking, it will clean those things up. We've actually worked with some really cool companies that allow you to change and dub over a word. If you accidentally said the wrong word while you were speaking, it can go in, identify that location, and just with your own voice, dub over that one or two words that you messed up to make it correct so that you don't have to re-record anything. There are so many ways that you can be using assistive AI inside of your entrepreneurial journey, and we are breaking a bunch of those down for you, as well as generative AI things, but you have to keep in mind when and where it is appropriate or concerning to be using those inside of your business. Drop your question down below. Follow along because every single day we are bringing you brand new videos to help you navigate the world of entrepreneurship to save time and effort creating your social content so that this can be your most profitable year ever while still having a ton of luxury time in your business to do the things you love and to be with the people you want to be with while your business is still working for you without you being hands-on every minute of every day. We'll see you in the upcoming episodes.